Hello to our proud viewers and welcome to episode 4 of Eagle Watch. Joining me for this show, none other than the Eagles head coach, Matt Janus. Matt, how are you doing this morning?
Daniel, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you as always for coming. So let's get into the game last week. Nuts game, nuts environment. You can't ask for much more out of the guys over at Grand Valley. At the time, they're number 2 in D2. So obviously a win would have been nice, but what are your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, I think, overall, I think the game kind of went the way, I preached to the guys, and I know Zach's here listening, and he's going to probably roll his eyes because he's probably heard it by 15 times by now. But the game kind of, the flow of the game went exactly how I thought it was going to go. And I think they were going to, we talked to our guys first and foremost that the first thing our team had to do was to kind of be in our foxhole together and withstand the first bombardment that Grand Valley was going to throw at us. Because that's what they try to do. They try to overwhelm you. They try to overwhelm you with the crowd, with the way they warm up, with the way you kind of have to enter, and you have to kind of go through their student section, and they tell you everything that they think about you as you kind of go through that student section. So we knew, and then we knew they were going to try to be really try to create some explosives on defense right away. We knew they were going to try to take shots right away and try to overwhelm you, right, and try to get that thing to be 28-0 by the time you blink your eye. And so we talked to our group extensively about having to be in our foxhole together and withstand the initial bombardment. And if you look at our game, that's what our guys did, and they were able to do that together. And then the next part of it was, okay, then we have to create a counterattack. That was phase 2 of that game, right? We have to counterattack them. We have to come out of our foxhole, and we have to counterattack them. And I think we're going to talk about it in a little bit with the touchdown that we throw and how we play some complementary football there. And we're able to kind of have our first counterattack to that game. And then after that, phase 3 of that game was going to be punch for punch then, right? And so we got to that. We felt like we got to that where it was going to be punches back and forth by 2 really good teams. And then we had to get to phase 4, which was to get it to the fourth quarter and win it in the fourth quarter. And that all kind of came to fruition, right? And it kind of got to that, and we got into we had the ball with the last drive with the chance to tie it, and unfortunately we just couldn't make a few plays. We just couldn't make enough, and we left a little bit on the table. So I guess in terms of what we felt and what we found out about our team, some of the things that I really liked is that our team continuously has an edge to them. Nothing has fazed them this year in terms of whether it's been playing up Division II schools for the last 2 weeks, whether it's been getting on a bus and going 18 hours. Like this team they just have an edge to them. And when they have that and when they play with that edge, they're really scary. And they're fast and they're violent. And we play really good football. And so you kind of discover that about your team. And we talked about it before, right, that we want to use the non-conference season to figure out who our team is. And then I think, what the things that we need to improve on now, and especially as we kind of get into this bye and we have a chance, we had 2 big road trips. We had we get a chance to breathe this week a little bit, but as we get into this bye now it's about finding our team needs to do a better job on the details. I think we do a really good job of creating this edge throughout the week, of getting ready to play a violent game of football. We get ready on Saturday, ready for that. But we got to be able to kind of harness that edge, and right, we got to be able to focus a little bit more on our details, whether it's individual technique, whether that's an assignment base. And so this week, that's going to be what a lot of this team's looking at it, is focusing on those little finer details. And if we can play with that edge where we're violent, fast, scary, and then continue to focus on those details, we're going to be a really good football team.
So talk a little bit more about scary. That Eagles defense in the second half was just, nuts. Only on 3 points. What was said at halftime that not only fired the defense up, but the whole team?
Well, I think Zach could probably tell you more, but I think it was the crowd. We had to kind of navigate through their crowd at halftime, and they were just chirping. And I think that kind of just that was the motivation that those guys, I think, needed, and obviously came back in the second half and played a really good game. Really defensively, really happy with the way our coaches game plan, Coach Collicott, Coach Zweifel game plan that thing. I thought our first and second down defense was unreal. I think we had a good game plan for what they were doing, and they changed some stuff. And again, talking with our defense staff throughout that game, like they were changing formations. They were kind of doing some things that we didn't see, and our group did a great job of adjusting on the defense side of the ball. I think we held them. The problem we had on defense was third down. Mm-hmm. And we did a great job. You can tell the initial game plan of first and second down was really good. In the third down game plan, I think we got them into 19 3rd and 6 pluses. I mean, that's unreal of a stat line there. But it credit to them. Obviously, they converted, made some huge passes, but we just were not able at times to get them off the field on 3rd down. And so we got to do that this week. And we talked about that as a defense already, of what we have to kind of adjust and what we're going to have to do differently moving forward here, because we have to continuously, we have to do a better job of game planning. We have to do a better job of creating our attack plan on 3rd down like we did on 1st and 2nd down this last week.
Talk a little bit more about that 3rd down defense. Grand Valley went 12 of 20 on 3rd downs, but you did get them to a couple 4th downs, 1 field goal, and then a 4th and 2. We'll get over the game footage here, but got the stop on 4th and 2. Can we go through kind of what went down on that play?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see the scoreboard right now, and you can kind of see this is we're still in that phase 1, that initial bombardment phase right here, where they're trying to go for it, and obviously you're going to see they're kind of in their positive field position here. They actually start off. We get our call. We thought we were getting into some unbalanced stuff. We thought that the plan was going to be to go to the field, so we thought their plan was going to be to run the ball this way, but they actually shift, kind of move the tight end over here. We're playing really a kind of a cover 2 look here against the unbalanced. So they have this tight end right here is dead. And this is a completely new play. This is a completely new play that we've never seen on film. It's more of a quarterback run game that they had. So you see, really, it's a great call by them. Really, there's I talked to our defense staff on this. This isn't our defensive coaching staff at all. This is actually not a good call, and you can see right here they have the numbers here, and they're gonna arc this Y right here to our corner. You have their quarterback on a run. They got a pitch option right here, and you can see it. We're getting their tackle cut off. This is an ugly looking picture right now if you're a defensive guy, and you obviously we're playing a cover 2 with our safety right here, so he's gonna be our late fitter here. But like if you look at this picture right here in this frame, it's 4th and 2. There's the sticks. You can see where everybody's kind of highlighted to. This should be a no-brainer 1st down, right? Like they should come away with it. We got to get ourselves in a better play call. But this is just an example of the level that all of our guys, and I told them after the game how proud I was of. I'm not happy about the result. I felt we left some plays out there. I thought we left some stuff out there where we should have been in a better position, even better position to win that game. And ultimately, college football is about results, and you have to have results. But the way our kids played, the effort that they played with, man, I've never been so proud to coach a group like that. And I told them that after the game. I mean, just the level. I mean, you see this whole frame right here as you watch this. This should be a 1st down, but it starts, it starts with Bodie Schoenhofer right here. Right, and he just kind of escapes. He's actually supposed to be into the C gap here. He's supposed to be, into the B gap here. He finds a way. He gets a visual on what's going on. He redirects himself. He bounces back out. He's going to be the one that kind of screws up the quarterback here, right? And he's going to be the one that forces the quarterback to say, okay, I have to pitch this then. And then the effort by Nate Wiltshire here, who's playing an interior. We got some interior movement on here. He's right here when this play starts getting going here. So Bodie then shifts off. He takes the quarterback. Nate's on a huge run right there. He's now involved in the tackle. And then the pursuit comes from the backside. Tate Pitcher does a great job of getting off the block. I mean, this tight end, phenomenal player. Huge guy. I think he was like 6'4", 6'5". And this is our corner on a tight end. He gets himself off the block. Great block destruction right there. Great pursuit by Nate. Henry Walsh is coming from the backside here. And again, we get in on this. And I mean, what a... Again, that's just like it just makes you like you got players like that play with that kind of effort, and really, like I said, the play call wasn't good. We thought it was something else. The play call wasn't a good play call for that situation. Never seen that play before, but our kids played with that kind of effort again throughout the whole night on both sides, and really all 3 phases of the football game.
And the Grand Valley Stadium was kind of set up different than a lot of stadiums. You had student sections on both sides, and then the 2 stands. But coming out of that play, get the ball back, drive down the field, and Zach and I'll touch on this a little later, but it was a classic Zach to Jack connection for a 9-yard touchdown to tie the game. Can we kind of go through that play and what we saw there?
Yeah, and like we talked about sometimes before too, like when our group plays complementary football together, it's pretty scary and when our group has momentum, they are a scary group, and they feed off of each other. They feed off of our whole sideline is into it. Like, you go from the stop to now you drive the ball down, a 7-0 game. Again, 2 minutes later, we get some big plays that get ourselves down there. And again, this kind of goes into the play call. This goes into what Coach McGuire saw on film. And then obviously, and you heard Zach and I talking before, then it goes into Zach, right? And so now what Coach McGuire is telling Zach is matching up. We talked about this last week with the Northern Michigan, and now the connection from film to practice to now a game is all coming to fruition right here. And so we get a little bit of short motion here. This defense, they're playing some lanes concepts right here. So essentially, the corner here is going to take the fade of number 1. The safety, you're going to see him to the field. He's going to look. He's going to have the in of number 2 right here. And they're going to have an outside backer or another safety to the field kind of drop off here, right here. And he's got the in of number 2, right? So this is kind of a goal line defense here. We do this at times as well. And they're playing that similar concept right here. But what stresses the lane sometimes, as a defensive coach, I can tell you, what stresses the lane sometimes, this is a clear-cut picture for these guys down here. As you watch and as the play goes on, they know who the in is, right? They know who the out. So now we're gonna run essentially a smash route right here. So he's gonna stick with this. The corner should fade off here to help out on that, right? And now he's got the slant of number 1. So it's a clear picture because of the formation, right? We have 1 and 2, they're spaced out. The defensive guys know what's going on over here. Well, what stresses lanes now to the top of this, okay, is going to be now the short motion, and now our receivers are in a stack set. And that's going to stress a little bit here, and so you can kind of see they're trying to determine, and it's a great vertical push by Jack and by our receivers right here that makes it even tougher, right? Because now there's a vertical push, so the defensive guys are still trying to figure out their lane's rules. Tell them that, okay, I gotta take the in here, I gotta take the in, or I have to take the in of number 1 or the in of number 2. But right now they don't know. It's still fuzzy in this picture of who number 1 is, who is number 2, right? So they're trying to struggle to pass this thing off. So you can see how the motion, the short motion, the formation affects it. And then eventually it's really just, it's a tough concept, it's a tough look against that coverage for the defense. And it's a great job by Coach McGuire and with the play call. It's a great job by Zach. You're going to see him go front side first. He recognizes, again, I bet you, I don't know if he'll tell you this, but I bet you he recognizes within that split second right here that the way they play it, and they do a good job. Grand Valley does a great job of disguising this, as Zach and I this looks like man, right? But they're playing something totally different on the snap. Because if you were to look at a pre-snap, you're saying this is man, right? So Zach, as he gets himself over, he thinks initially he has the man side right there. He's going to turn around. Now he's seeing, okay, this is Lance, right? And so now it's registered in his thought process, right? In that split second right there, that this is the lanes coverage, and I got to go to the other side of the field, right? And so now he gets himself to the other side of the field where we have more of that package to beat that right there. And again, great job by our receivers, great job by Zach coming back to that. And now we find ourselves in a 7-7 game. And this is, we talked about phase 2, right? We had the initial bombardment that we had to foxhole. This was the counterattack right here, right? So now this is the one that's going to get us into this punching match for the next 3 quarters.
And you talked a bit about tying that game up. The lacrosse faithful really traveled well. Shout out to Patty and JC for the ride. Thank you again. But you got to give credit to the UWL fans for making that 7-8 hour trek over there.
Our fans are awesome. They are. You go to our first game at RPI, we had more people than it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. We had more people. They were coming from 18 hours. We had people that flew, took off work, drove, didn't everything in between. They got to that game, and that's and getting to Grand Valley from all of Wisconsin is just a trek. You got to go. You got to decide. You got to go around Chicago. It's a long drive. You lose an hour, and our fans were absolutely awesome. And I know they were scattered. I know tickets were hard to get, and so I think I heard this that Zach's parents were kind of stuck with the Grand Valley fans on the Grand Valley side because the tickets were so limited with seating room only, or otherwise you had to do standing room. So our parents, we had parents. I know we had another group of alumni that were kind of stuck in the middle of the Grand Valley on the home side. We had some parents who had at the 50, but you could feel that. When you go into a hostile environment, and I thought about this, as you go into a hostile environment, and our kids ran out for warm-ups, and there was about maybe a group of 35 to 40 parents on our visitor sideline that were already in the stadium, that they go on to warm-ups, and that's the first thing they heard in an opposing stadium like that. That's pretty special for our guys. So really appreciative of the support that we continue to have in this football program.
Like I said earlier, it's one of those games where, I've been to some crazy environments. I've been lucky to go to a lot of a lot of nuts games, but this is one of those games where I had to take a step back and I'm like, holy crap, this is nuts. Like, how lucky am I to be in a situation like this, to be at a game like this? So getting into some more coverage, Tate pitcher in the third had a huge interception in the red zone that led to a field goal. Can we kind of go over that play?
Yeah, I mean, you get into the third and the fourth quarter. I mean, defense they came up with two critical turnovers there. We got some fourth down stops, so we got into some stuff here. And so as we get into Tate's, they're driving the ball, and like we at this point in the game, and you can see the clock right here. At this point in the game, like we need stops. Like we need to get stops, and they're moving the ball. And I thought our defense, we weren't happy with the third downs, but as the drive continued, we made them earn, I felt, everything, right? And I thought we did some really good things in the red zone. And so as they start to get to this high red area, we're trying to play some different coverages, give some different looks. I thought their play call, it was really. I think just as a coach, like, and you go into and we talked about this a little bit last week, just as a coach, like the chess match of what this game was going to be, and that it was going to be, just like we sat here, we said it's going to be about the adjustments to the adjustments to the adjustments. And like, to me, like as a coach, like that's the kind of stuff that you want. And so it's constantly trying to change the picture with our secondary and constantly trying to mix in the blitzes, to mix it in different ways to play, in this case, different ways to play their X receiver right here. And so we kind of bail out of the blitz. And again, we just kind of throw the timing off a little bit by showing the press man. And showing this look, and so just kind of throw the timing off a little bit, playing a little bit of a cover three type blitz right here, and obviously, kind of a missed throw. Was the quarterback, I'm sure, wishes he had this one back, but again, when our team needed to play, Tate found a way to catch that ball, get in bounds, and get us the ball back.
So one last question: you got a bye week this week, as we've talked about. What's the team doing to prepare for Platteville to start conference play next week?
Yeah, today, our Tuesday practice today, we have to kind of do a couple things. We got to get a couple things done. Is we're going to do kind of a couple different team segments on the fixes that our program needs to make, and whether that's on the offense side, defense side of the ball, we're going to use our scout teams and throw some different looks and run our base stuff. Maybe it was a read that somebody missed, or maybe it was hey, we just didn't, this formation stressed this defense, and so we got to figure out a way to change our rules a little bit. So we've been kind of tweaking some things on the defense and offense side of the ball, looking at some of the rules. So today is going to be about that, and then today is also going to be about we're going to try to really kind of let our threes go today. The threes are kind of caught in kind of two worlds, right? And there's some guys that we really like, some younger guys that we want to see, that maybe didn't play all that much the last couple games, maybe played a few plays, but we want to make sure we get them more reps so that they're in tune with what's going on, especially as we got to continue to build our depth, because believe it or not, the hardest part of our schedule is coming up here. Like, we played a ridiculous non-conference schedule, but now the hardest part is now coming up with conference. So we got to continue to build our depth. And then as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's all going to be about UW-Platteville. They are a good program. I know they're ranked 26 in another poll. I don't know what the AFCA one is, but I think they're 20 or something. They should be. They are a top 25 football program in the country. They're playing really well on offense. They have some stuff that stresses our defense on offense, on their offense. And then, if you look at their defense, and Zach has played against it last year, especially a lot last year. It is a different, they have a really good defensive play caller, and it's a really different look that we're going to see. So we're going right on. This is the most important game of our season, is against UW-Platteville and in 2 weeks. And so we're going to use every second that we can have to prepare for it. I know some people look at the bye and say, okay, we want to just focus on us, but we have a top 25 football program coming into our place in a really, really important game, and we're going to focus on that.
Matt, thank you for your time. Viewers, listeners, thank you as well. Enjoy the bye week, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Daniel. Go Eagles.
Go Eagles. With the Eagles having a bye week this week, I thought it'd be a cool idea to get one of the players in. Big shout out to Eagles quarterback Zach Weir for coming into the studio for an interview. Let's see what he has to say. So with having a bye week this week, we're switching things up a little bit, getting a starting quarterback, Zach Weir, on the show. So Zach, for people who are unfamiliar with who Zach Weir is, who's Zach Weir?
Yeah, obviously I play quarterback for the Eagles here. Love lacrosse. I'm a marketing major, and I'm going on my fifth year. I have one more semester of school left. So
With being in your 5th year, what do you think you bring to the team that's different from people or seniors that are maybe in only their 4th year?
Yeah, I mean, the extra year definitely helps. It adds a little notch on the belt, I guess. A little more experience. This is a really experienced team, and we know that. So we're looking to see what we can do.
And for people that haven't maybe seen much of UWL football this year, or maybe paid much attention, the Eagles kind of run a 2-quarterback set with you and Kyle Haas. What's it like for you to have somebody like Kyle that can come in behind you and just keep the offense rolling?
Yeah, Kyle's a good quarterback. He brings a lot to the offense. He's super prepared every week, and he helps push not only me but the other quarterbacks as well. So it's nice. It's nice having a guy that's in there help pushing the team as well.
And the Eagles receiving room, wide receiver room this year, is Coach Janus said, just about as deep as it can be. What's it like for you to be leading the conference in completion percentage and just know you have such a great receiving room?
Yeah, I couldn't be more grateful to have the receivers that I have. We obviously have a great depth in that room. Those guys continuously just do what they do week in, week out on the football field, and I'm obviously super grateful as a quarterback to have that receiver room.
Coach Janus earlier was touching a lot on how tough this non-conference schedule has been. What have you learned over the last 3 games heading into conference play?
Yeah, just that we're a team that has a bunch of experience, and then that we just need to tweak some things from the non-conference schedule to help us play the best football that we can moving into conference play.
As Coach Janus and I were talking about that Grand Valley game last weekend, I mean, one of the craziest games I've been to. What would you say some of your main takeaways from that game are? Yeah,
obviously, I think we played well at times, but there's a lot of errors we can fix, and I think we could have a lot more production on the offensive side of the ball. The defense was making plays, putting us in positions to make plays on the offensive side of the ball. So just fixing up those minor details moving forward and just doing what we can on the offensive side of the ball to play the best football we can will be huge.
And going back to that wide receiver, I'm talking a little bit more about Jack. What's it like for you to have a guy like that where you just know you throw the ball in his general direction and chances are he's hauling it in?
Yeah, obviously Jack Studer's a really good receiver. I'm extremely lucky to have a guy like that in my receiver room. There's a reason that he has a lot of yards every game. I trust him. He's a really good receiver, and I like throwing the ball to him because there's a good chance he's coming down with it. So he comes every week super prepared. It's not just like he's going out there and it's all talent. He puts in the work in the practice and in the film room too. So I'm really lucky to have him.
That Grand Valley game, despite the loss, you got to think it almost gives you momentum heading into conference, knowing you can hang with the second-ranked team up a division. What's that kind of feeling like for you, knowing you can hang with anybody?
Yeah, I think the whole team knows that, though. I think we're a really good football team, and we're going to put our heads and minds and just give it our all every week. And I think we can compete with any team in D3 for sure. And I think that we are going in with the expectation that we want to do well throughout this conference schedule. So we're looking forward to it.
Talking about that conference schedule, you got Platteville coming to town next weekend. What are you doing to prepare for that game?
Yeah, obviously we have a bye week coming up. So this first week we really want to hammer on the details, do what we need to do to fix ourselves, the errors that kind of happened last week, but then kind of fine tune those details. And then obviously moving into Platteville, watching all the film we can, seeing what they're doing in their non-conference schedule, and then looking at a little bit of last year's film, see what they did to us last year, and then move from there.
Zach, thank you, of course, for your time. Viewers, thank you as well. Make sure to get out and support these Eagles and Zach Weir.